We resume our series on explaining the ideas of Shovavim. I had intended to release this segment while we're still Rosh Chodesh because of how we want to explain its connection to Chodesh Shvat per se. But B'nai Shamayim, it got a little bit delayed, but I realized perhaps one of the many reasons why it got delayed tonight, which is Bet Shvat already, it's the yahrzeit of my father-in-law. It's Bilui Nishmaso, Shimon ben Avraham, right? Shimon ben Avram Shlomo. The Divrei Torah I'll give him Aliyas HaNeshama, and also let him be Melitz Yosher for all Klaiso and for all the Cholim and the Cholot, and let also this segment also be the Refuah Shlema, all the Cholim and all the Cholot, including in that also all the wounded of Klal Yisrael, not just those suffering elements, but those for sure from either physical wounding or trauma, and anywhere in the world, particularly in Eretz Yisrael, particularly in the Hamas captivity. Shall have refuah shlema and be yotzei mitzor facha me'afarla u'mishiva gula hashta bagos man korev. Okay, so what's another thing is I wasn't going to delay this till next week. I want to say something. If not today, then if not on Rosh Chodesh, then right after, because we had a crazy day today in Klal Yisrael, in the world. If you're following world news, and what's happening in the world in general, and what's happening to Klal Yisrael, including the Kitrugim and Klal Yisrael, and by that bogus kangaroo court, in Hague. So we need to be in this order for tshuva, which is what Shovim is all about, and we'll discuss a little bit more detail of how Shovim, is really a tikkun to what's ailing the world, ailing the world itself. Okay, interesting. Okay, Chodesh Shvat is a month that totally belongs to Shovavim. Right, Shovavim starts while it's still Teves. Right, in a year like this year, it extends into Adar Aleph. Right, but generally it's during the whole month of Shvat. So Mishpatim, which is the last week of Shovavim in a regular year, Mishpatim, the latest is Rosh Chodesh Adar. At the latest, it generally is, because we have 3 Parshat Shkalim, on Parshas Mishpatim, we have to read it before Adar, the Shabbos before Adar. We'll read it, during Mishpatim when Mishpatim also comes out as Rosh Chodesh Adar. So it comes out, so when we have Tat in a leap year, we get a little piece of Adar, and we'll come back to define that more when we get to the Tat part of Shovim Tat, which is special for a Shana Muberes, right? But otherwise, it starts while it's still Teves, but it really extends through the whole month of Shvat, right? So there's got to be a inherent connection between the month of Shvat and Shovavim. Okay. So now what we know, there's a lot to say about Shvat. But one of the things that everyone knows, right, is that during Shvat it's Rosh Hashanah Le'ilan, right? It is the age of a tree, for Orla and things like that. Is, the cutoff point is Tu B'Shvat, where what and by Tu B'Shvat, in the parts of the world like Eretz Yisrael, where it only rains in the winter. Kolu Rov Gishmei Shana, right? Most of the rain has already rained by Tu B'Shvat. According to Beit Shammai in the Mishnah, the Rosh Hashanah Ilan is not Tu B'Shvat; it's already Rosh Chodesh. That was today. But there's no question that the month of Shvat belongs to the Ilan, whether the Rosh Hashanah of Elon is Rosh Chodesh like Beit Shammai, or it's Tu B'Shvat like Beis Hillel. It's the month of the Elon. So now we will use that to explain also on the heels of, of what we explained yesterday, right? But all these Shurman Shovim are, building on each other. I see Eliyahu, our sponsor from B'Shem Hashem, he put a disappearing message thing. So really, grab the Shovavim audios before they disappear, okay? So now, we explained yesterday, and I want to like steer into it again, right? As we've been explaining, right? The Parshiot of Shovim describe how the universe is now getting its amud and its tachlit. It's getting its pillar, which is to get its right to exist, and also it's getting its purpose, the Shem Shemayim, and the two are interrelate. The Yesod, the pillar, has to go into the Malchut, has to be positioned point center, has to be positioned, at the center point. The world gets its pillar, it gets its center point, which is besod the midot of Yesod and Malchut, right? And the last thing that we said yesterday is that we, the Jewish people who play the role in that cosmic upheaval, which benefited the cosmos, that starts with, which happens in the course of these parshiot, as we've explained already a few times. Am Yisrael is the vehicle for this. Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim to demonstrate his great name. He gave us the Torah, which is to put his divine name on it. And he put his Shekhinah, which is another manifestation of Shem Shemayim, in our midst. The Mishkan is for us. V'shachanti b'tocha. Right? So now, so if we are the vehicle for this cosmic change of heaven coming down to earth, and which is what earth was meant for, and that's what gives earth the right to exist, because it was meant to be a place of holiness. That but not only that the Ikar Shechina should come down from heaven to be earth. Torah, which is the highest thing, should come down to earth, right? And Am Yisrael is the vehicle for all this. So if we are the vehicle for what's happening cosmically, we have to live that way in our personal lives, right? So now someone will say, hey, I got a lot of emunah in my head. Right, I believe there's a God, and I have a lot of emunah in my heart. I have love of all God, love of Torah, love of all Jews in my heart. But when it comes, to down to it, literally speaking, down to it, to the Brit, I'm. But listen, isn't the main thing to have that you believe the truth and you have a big heart? Right? Isn't that enough? Right? You've heard that one before, right? So you say to such a person, with your reasoning, the Torah should have never come down to earth, right? Saying, well, but my head and heart are in the right place. My earthy part isn't. Well, listen, what happened when Moshe Rabbeinu went up to get the Torah, right? So the angel said, Ribosh, you're going to give your Torah to this guy, and to mankind, the Torah is holy. These people they're not holy, right? So actually, Kodesh Baruch Hu told Moshe, answer them, right? Answer them. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, listen, you guys don't steal. You guys don't have a Yetzer Hara, right? You guys, like all the bad stuff, everything that's wrong with us, right? For that reason, we got to get the Torah. I don't know. That sounds like a winning argument for the angels, right? They say you guys don't have a Yetzer Hara, you don't fight, you don't steal, right? So how are you going to uphold all those psukim from the Torah? How are you going to uphold them, right? But it sounds you can look at it as an argument. If people are corrupt, leave the Torah, which is holy, by the non-corrupt angels. Answer is no. The Torah came down to earth to make tikkun. In heaven, no tikkun is necessary. So the Torah is like, as for lack of a better word, wasted, because God doesn't gain anything from leaving Torah in heaven. You put Torah on earth, and we use the Torah to fix the fact that we steal by having din Torah of bringing the thieves to justice, or even more basically, if there's no Torah on earth, why shouldn't I steal? What, because you say it's against your law? A person should not steal because the Torah says to not steal. A person should not kill because the Torah says not to kill, right? Who is the international court in Hague to tell me what to do? But I obey God. So first of all, just the very fact you have God's law on earth, that's why law-abiding citizens shouldn't steal or shouldn't kill, because God said so. Okay. And on the tzad that they don't listen to God, but there'll be divine justice. Beit Din, empowered by the Torah, is going to bring justice to the world and fix the world with the Torah's justice system. Right? And then this corrupt olam hazeh is now, sanctified. It's fixed. It's annexed to the kingdom of heaven, right? So just like, the Torah itself went through that transition, and through that transition, not only do you fix the world, so Hashem gains earth. Earth is now annexed to the kingdom of heaven. If you leave Torah in heaven, earth remains a makom tameh, where Hashem is not revealed, right? You bring the Torah to earth, you fix the earth, right? And you conquered it from Malchut Shamayim. And it goes so much so that Hashem says, forget it. I'm taking my Shekhinah out of heaven and I'm putting it on earth, in the Mishkan and subsequently in the Beit Elohim, in the Beit HaMikdash, and the Ikar Shekhinah, right? It's going to be more batachtonim. The Shechinat Uzo Begavei Meromim comes down to earth. Right? That's the whole point of being Jewish. As a person says, look, hey, my head, my heart is in the right place. My Brit, not so much, God forbid. So, buddy, that's the whole point of being Jewish. The whole point of Yetziat Mitzrayim is to make an Am that Hashem could give the Torah to on earth and put his Shekhinah down within their midst on earth. So you have to fix your earthly aspect perfectly parallel to what Hashem did in course of Sefer Shemot, of bringing heaven down to earth. And that's the mission of Am Yisrael. And to be a good Jew is to care about Tikkun HaBrit. That's why Tikkun HaBrit is so essential to being Jewish. It's all about bringing the heavenly down into the earthly. And, there's a lot of Yetzer Hara over there by the legs, right? And the legs are the part that touches earth. Okay, Torah came down here to fight the Yetzer Hara. Hashem didn't want to leave the Yetzer Hara earth, give him earth, and Hashem only have heaven, right? Put the Torah on earth, that Am Yisrael, through having the Torah, conquer earth and conquer the Yetzer Hara, for the kingdom of heaven. And that's Tikkun HaBrit. Bring the Torah down to the lowest place, and with that, bringing heaven down, right? Bringing heaven down. All right, so Tikkun HaBrit is to be real with what Hashem did cosmically. We're doing it in our individual lives. Okay, and now that is the model of a tree. All right, the pasuk says in Parshat Shoftim, right? Ki ha'adam eitz hasada, when the Torah gave a prohibition, right, to cut down fruit trees. Interestingly enough, Nogea, the Milchama in Aza. Right, you don't cut down fruit trees in war. Cut down any other tree, not the fruit tree. Of course, if it's ever pikuach nefesh, pikuach nefesh, right? But in a milchama, at least in a milchemet reshut, at least, if it's not going to cause a state of pikuach nefesh, obviously. So in warfare, we cut down the regular trees. We don't cut down the fruit trees. Okay, in warfare, I'm not getting into the detailed halachas. I can just promise you that you don't have to be moser nefesh to leave. If you have to cut down the fruit tree for survival, of course. But in standard warfare procedures, at least in a Muhammad Rashut, I don't remember what the halach is by Muhammad Mitzvah right now. But this is not the point of our topic. But it just says, the Torah likens ki adam eitz hasada. Man is like a tree. So man's like a tree. The Torah itself said so, and it's not just in that pasuk in Shoftim, it's also in Tillim, that the tzaddik, the tzaddik is like a tree that, grows on many waters. And it's also in the Nevi'im. It's through a lot of places that Adam is like a tree, right? What else is like a tree? The Torah. Eitz Chaim Hila Machazikim Ba, right? It's the tree of life for all those who uphold it, right? Which is, by the way, those who uphold it, that's also Tikkun HaYesod, because it's between the legs, what upholds the person, the legs, and that's why also it's another remez. The Machazikim Ba refers to the legs that uphold the tree. It also refers to the supporters of Torah, but in the individual also, it's the legs and what's between the legs, right? It's necessary to uphold the Torah, right? Tikkun HaBrit is so central, right? But now it will be very better understood, with the tree model, which is Chodesh Shvat, the day where the Elon, renews, right? So now, what else is called an Elon, right? Reality itself. The Mekubalim, right, refer to all the Olamot as the Elon HaKodesh, right, the holy tree, right? Now, the common denominator of these three trees, proverbial trees, right, the Olamot, right, reality itself, right, the Torah, and the human being, the Jew. The tzaddik is also called an eitz, right? That's what the Zohar says in those psukim on the Parsha Shoftim, or also even when Moshe, even earlier in Parshat Shlach, when he sends the Meraglim, said, Hayeshba eitz imayin, do they have a tree or not? The eitz is a tzaddik. Do they have a tzaddik to protect them? Right? So the tzaddik, the Torah, reality itself, right? These things are called trees. How so? Right? And Prat and Tu B'Shvat. What happens on Tu B'Shvat? Right? Hasraf ole ba'ilanot. I think it's Rashi over there in Gemara. I think it's Gemara time. This is or not. Right? The sap starts climbing. The sap starts climbing. Where did the sap come from? From the rain that fell. So like most of the rain has already fallen and now gets absorbed in the tree. And the tree begins to renew because all the rainfall now gets absorbed, because it gets converted into the sap that climbs the tree. Right? So also, right, on Rosh Hashanah, Hashem decreed blessings for the new year. We have yet to see these blessings. We've been having a hard year, Hashem Ya'azor. But the truth is, we weren't expecting to see the blessings until now, right? Because until now, we were living off the leftovers of last year, just like in the supermarket, right? What they're selling you, all the fruits and vegetables, they grew last year on last year's rain, right? So until Shvat, we've been eating leftovers from last year. And just like it's that way, in Gashmiut, it's also that way in Ruchniut. Believe it or not, the bracha of the new year has not yet been harnessed. It came into the world with Gishmei bracha, the blessed rains. Rain is called Gishmei bracha because Geshem, which means Hitkashmut, things becomes physical. What's becoming physical? The Ribosham Shefa, his emanation that he's giving the world is being Mitkashem. And it comes down with the Geshem, Gishmei bracha, that Hashem is just like he's bringing down the rain to make new things grow. And that's the physical bracha, the spiritual aspect of, the bracha of Gishmei bracha. There's also coming into the world together with the rainfall. But so that's the bracha of Rosh Hashanah comes into reality with the rainfall. The rainy season starts very shortly after Tishrei. It starts in Cheshvan, right after Tishrei, after the month of Rosh Hashanah and Hoshana Rabbah, right? And B'chag, on Sukkot, Nidonim Bam Alamayim, right? And then we get the Gishmei bracha, and that's what brings the blessing into the world. But then the blessing has to be harnessed, right? The blessing has to be absorbed, and that's the tree. And, that's the tree now absorbs the Geshem, and it becomes the Sraf Olabilos, and that's the transition. It's Chatzois. This happened last night also. Right. Right. Can you please take her out?
No, come here. I need to get my legs on. Come on.
Right. That's it. Pull her. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, so now the tree processes the rain and produces fruit. So also the olamot, by Tu B'Shvat, are now processing Hashem's Gishmei Bracha and now starting to produce based on it. So from Shvat and onwards, the universe itself, which is one big tree, Hashem gave the bracha with the Gishmei Bracha, and now the universe is processing that Gishmei Bracha, and we're only going to start seeing the bracha of Tafshin Pei Daled from this month onwards. Right? It's coming into reality. It came into reality with the Kshamim, but Kshamim don't. It's not saying that we can benefit from it. It needs to be processed. It has to be absorbed into the ground and then climb up the tree, right? All right. So now so the heavenly bracha is being absorbed into reality from Shvat onwards, absorbed in the tree, which is like the cosmic machine that takes Hashem's bracha and produces fruit. Okay. So now you can understand that the olamot should be viewed as an upside down tree, roots in heaven, because that's where the sustenance is coming from, and it's absorbed and it branches out in every olam and olam. Every rakia and rakia gets its, produces its product. Okay. Torah also, right? Torah, we have to internalize the Torah. Hashem gave Torah from heaven to earth. It needs to be internalized, right? And so the Torah and the Torah should make, what is the, internalize the Torah is not just you stop memorize, but now you have chidushei Torah, right? Because your understanding is your unique understanding of the Torah. So that's the fruit. The Nefesh Chaim says that chidush doesn't mean you have like a novel idea. That the very fact that you have an understanding of it, that the Torah didn't used to be in your head, and even when you had it in your head, but you just memorized it, you say it like a parrot, right? It's not. The fruit is that you have Havana of Torah, and that's something new. Because you didn't have that Havana before. Those divrei Torah existed, but not as your Havana in Torah. So the Torah comes down, it's manifested, and it makes fruit on earth. And it's the Chidushei Torah, which includes any Yid that has Havana in Torah. That's a Chiddush. Because that Torah did not exist as in your Havana. So your Havana, even if it's not a bomb new idea, but the fact that you absorb it, you internalize it by understanding, that's called Paris. That's called Chidushei. That's the Paris. That's the fruit, right? And you should now, all you guys who are learning, you should start feeling a transition. You're learning, like some newness to your learning, that all of a sudden, the Torah of Tafshin Pei Daled now starts, climbing in your tree, right? And that's where we get to the Adam. The Adam also is a tree. Right, but also, like we said, the Sefer Yasher Rabbeinu Tam, and it's throughout all the Sfarim, right? The Adam is also an upside-down tree, right? Our roots are in heaven, right? Because, we mentioned yesterday, going back, it is just to go deeper to the point that we said yesterday, because I see we've already crossed the 20-minute mark. We don't want to say at one time too much, sort of like swamping you. Like the tree has to get the water so it absorb it. Can you swamp the tree just, lose its standing, swamp the plant, you drown the plant, right? Also, just try and give it to you in measures that are easily absorbable, right? So the Adam also, his roots are in heaven because in your mind, there's a God. That's your connection to God. Dot is connection, right? So you know that there's a God. That's your roots. Your head is your roots. And it branches out from the head to the heart. It extends downwards. That from God, like the Rambam says in Hilchos Torah, if you really think about God and how God is great, all of a sudden you can't help but love Him and also be in awe of Him. That's Ava and Yira, but it has to go further down. It has to go down and to make to the Brit, right? And just like in that organ where we make perot, we make children. That's also the fruit that you make for Hashem, right? Because we said the chidush of putting the Torah on earth is to be metak in this world. Heaven didn't need tikkun. Torah doesn't make chidush and therefore doesn't have perot if you leave it in heaven, because heaven doesn't need fixing, right? So the Torah comes down to make perot, right? Because with the power of the Torah, we conquer the Yetzer Hara, and we conquer the world for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's a chiddush. Those are the peirot that we give HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? And it's by no coincidence that it's in that same organ with which we have peirot. We make children, right? That's the main way to bring the Torah down to earth, and you make a wonderful Jewish family. Zachu Shechina Shroibdem. You only cling to your wife, which Chazal say, man and wife, Yud from Ish, Hey from Isha. It's like the divine presence rests between. It's like a little Beit HaMikdash. That's when the Yesod and the Malchut are aligned, L'Shem Shah, and it's all done L'Shem Shamayim, and they have wonderful children that all go b'derech HaTorah if there was Kedusha, Tabrit in producing them, right? And that parallels how the whole Chiddush that we make, what's man's contribution? What we give Hashem is how we conquer this world and make it part of Malchut Shamayim. So much so that the Rebbe Shalom says, I'll put my Shechina amongst them. I'll take my Shechina out of heaven and put it by them. That's where the Torah is. My Shechina will follow because Am Yisrael is living by the Torah down there. So my Shechina will follow the Torah because Am Yisrael is implementing the Torah, making Chidushei Torah, being mechadish that the world belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and not to the Sitra Achra. All right, so and that's why by no cause it's in the same organ. Right. All right. I have a lot more to say, but we've out of time. I want you to contemplate this. Because I have another layer to add, and how I think the Tikkun HaBrit of Shovavim is mamish what we need. We need it every year. We need it very, very badly now with what's going on in the world. But contemplate this point, absorb it, and we'll add another layer by the next session. Have a wonderful Shabbos.